Hi guys, I'm Connie G. Nollybean, and for the year 2020 I decided to do a vlog to record just my own year, and I decided that I was going to try and do at least 2 videos a month. At the time it was January, obviously, and we didn't know what was ahead. During my day job I'm usually a theater director, so I was trying to keep myself accountable as far as like keeping my skills sharp, makeup, costuming, all those kind of things, and just kind of generally talk about the things that I know about, because when it comes to theater and being in it for as long as I have been, there's a lot of things that I just know that I was going to share with people and help them kind of maybe get a little bit better in their day-to-day lives with makeup or costuming or whatever that they wanted to do. I also was going to start a dress project. I was going to make a dress. I already made one, but I was going to make one fancier. So that was the original goal to this vlog. It's got a different word now. I'm old. But as we know, the world is different now. It's always going to be different from here on out. The changes that we have to implement and the things that we have to do from here on out have to be different. And I was watching YouTube, because that's what I do. I don't actually own cable. I watch YouTube and streaming services. And I came across a gentleman by the name of, let me pull up his name on my paper, Xander Hall. And he discussed how he got sucked into the alt-right movement and how he changed his ways, so to speak. Sorry, my cat is doing weird things. Anyway, rewind a little bit. Also, I do these in one take, so we may be doing this a couple times. So anyway, and he said that a lot of people who are left-leaning don't use this platform to really discuss the things that they feel and know logically and stuff like that. And I was like, hey, well, I share stuff that I know on a regular basis on my channel, and though it is mostly fluff and how to look pretty and things like that, and just day-to-day nonsense, and also lore from the games I play, I do have some stuff to share that maybe people don't know, right? So I do this in one take. I don't have editing software. I don't actually own a computer. I have a phone and I have a tablet. So this is going to seem really, really just weird, I guess, because I'm going to have like my tablet, I'm going to hold it up instead of having graphics here and there. I obviously don't have an intro or an outro if you've watched any of my videos. So let me just take a moment to just talk to you the way that I talk to the younger folks that I teach, and the people that I talk to in general who maybe don't know this kind of stuff. Now, I'm going to be talking about racism. I'm going to focus on one picture that's been circling around the internet, and it's been confusing a lot of people, and I'll get into it in just a second, and hopefully my tablet will read and the lighting won't all be all screwy. But we're going to try, right? That's the best we can do is try. Okay. So let me see if I can get this into frame for you. Like I said, I am doing all of this stuff through my tablet and talking to you at the same time. So it may seem a little weird, but we're going to go with it for now and see what happens, right? Okay, so try not to touch any of the buttons here. All right. So I don't know if you can see this, right? Okay. And it's definitely reflecting my ring light a lot. So it says I can't breathe. It's got George Floyd on there. It's got him holding a gun to a pregnant woman's belly. And the text says, a crackhead who committed armed robbery held a pregnant woman at gunpoint, died in a botched arrest. So now the entire country is enveloped in ritualistic white guilt so extreme, we're abolishing the police. Okay. We're going to go through a couple of things. We're going to talk about why this is incorrect, what facts are really going on about George Floyd. But we're also going to talk about why this is racist, because a lot of people don't understand why it's racist. Okay? Or maybe they're feigning ignorance, but I'm happy to educate people on that. Okay. So the answer to why this is racist is constantly in our culture, white people bring up past offenses of black men and women in order to justify horrific violence done to them. Okay? The goal of this mural is to diminish what happened to this man by pointing out something that isn't true as a way to divide white people from being allies to the movement. It doesn't matter what past or present crime he committed. It doesn't matter what past or present crime he committed. Our country was founded on fair and public trial. Because back in the imperial days, people would just get hung for crimes against the crown, right? No one has the right to exact capital punishment for a possible fake piece of currency. Now, it wasn't fake, and we know that now. It was actually a real $20 bill. Okay. Many people who have been posting this mural think that the movement relies solely on this man's merit and not the fact that as a society we've allowed bonuses to be given to cops for racially profiling black men and making them villains. Or families of hundreds of men and women that never see justice for deaths just like this. Now, we've only seen, and I watch pretty, leftist-leaning media for most of my content. I do actually watch right-wing stuff, but that's mostly to understand where you guys are coming from. We've seen hundreds of deaths in the last few years. Hundreds of men and women all over Google a major city and look for a death, and you'll find it, okay? So every time someone dies in the street at the hands of the police, they try to find something, anything, really, to make us turn our eyes away and say that person deserves what they got and that the cop was a hero. And this mural is an example of how systemic racism has infected people to the point where they don't even have to do it to us anymore. Cops don't have to bring it to us. People will go on the internet and find it and make this art and do these things, and then they'll be like, well, why is it racist? He really was an asshole, blah, 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 right? We're just fighting about it amongst ourselves, and it's dividing the allies. It's dividing people who actually aren't racist and actually want to do what's right and what's good in this world, okay? Stuff like this is divisionary, and we're going to go into... So hopefully that explained a little bit of why that's racist, right? Because that's the formula of what they do. They'll kill somebody, and then they'll say, oh, well, they had all these crimes previous. And then people in their brains, because for the longest time white people have been fed that black people are criminals, they just go, oh, well, I guess he deserved to die. Which, I mean, no one deserves to die in the street. No one deserves to die without going to trial. And if he had done a crime that was worth getting the death penalty, he would have gotten that if we had a fair and just system and if our cops were not completely corrupt. All right? So, all right. Where are we going with this? All right, well, here's an infographic for police shootings, and the source is the Washington Post, and it was updated June 2nd of 2020. As you can see, the share of deaths per million, and on the bottom here, there's black, Hispanic, white, and other, okay? And as you can see, at first, the statistic that everybody likes to... I wish this light wasn't doing this. Look at my mirror, isn't it cool? On the bottom, the statistic that a lot of white folks like to get into is that cops kill more white people than black people, and that's the statistic that they give you. It's only 13%, but it's 60% of white people, so we shouldn't be upset, which I don't understand that at all either, because they're killing people. We should do something about that. All right? So now it's actually divided that 43% of police shootings since January 1st of 2015 to now, so 5 years, has risen from 13% to 43%. Okay? And for Hispanic people, it's gone from 12% to 33% since 2015. All right? And then for white people, it went from 60% to 17%. Okay. This is just since 2015. Sorry, the corner of my eye itched for some reason. Okay? So now, let's talk about a little bit about, well, George Floyd is a criminal. Why are you martyring him? Right? Well, for a couple of reasons. One, it's not about him personally, right? It's about the statistic I just showed you. It's about these several hundreds of deaths that happen on a regular basis that they're just getting pulled over for stuff or stopped for things and then murdered. Yeah, so it's a thing. It's happening. Again, we should care, right? We're going to talk a little bit about what George Floyd actually has been arrested for and how it's not true, okay? So, George Floyd actually, hold on. Let the thing load here. All right. So George Floyd's last arrest was in 2009. So that's 11 years ago. So at the time of the arrest, he apparently dropped a white bag on the sidewalk and everybody thought it was cocaine. That was one of the first things that, like, he wasn't on cocaine. He had, and his toxicology report shows you that he wasn't on cocaine. He had congenital heart failure, and he was on pain medication for that because he was dying. He was sick, you know, and they give that to people who are terminally ill. So he had fentanyl in his system, not cocaine. He didn't have cocaine at all. He hasn't had cocaine since 2009. Okay? So that's one thing completely. Like, there's an arrest record that I'm going to show you here in a minute where he's gotten arrested a few times for cocaine. I don't know if anybody educated you guys or not, but cocaine is different than crack. Crack is actually derived from cocaine, right? And it was given to poorer neighborhoods because it's cheaper to produce and sell lots of crack than it is to sell pure cocaine. Cocaine is a white person drug, usually. White person drug. But George Floyd never got arrested for crack. It was cocaine. He had 2 convictions in the 90s. He was arrested 5 times in 20 years. And his last cocaine arrest was in 2005. My bad. What was he arrested for in 2009 then? Come on. It doesn't say. On this, it doesn't say. There's plenty of resources for this, by the way. You can pull up his arrest records and stuff. I'm going to actually show you court documents here in a second. So the arrest of the breaking and entering thing that he did. We're going to talk about that. Because it was a level 1 felony. Aggravated robbery. It was in 2007. So the report says that a man in a blue uniform tried to gain entry into a woman's home. When she realized that he wasn't a police officer, she tried to stop him, and him and his friends went into the apartment, found that there was no money, took her jewelry, and left. There's no reports whatsoever of this woman being pregnant. He didn't shoot anybody. He didn't choke anybody. He did force his way in. So, there's that. So she might have got banged up from that. Is it good? Is it okay to do that? No. And you probably shouldn't do that. It sounds to me like George had a little bit of a problem at the time, right? Because he had several cocaine arrests. He probably was looking for money. So we treat addiction also like a crime. So that's the thing. Like, it's really hard to get help unless you actually commit crimes too. So, all right. Let's see. So this is the case number and the incident for when he broke into the lady's home. And it's really hard to see, and I'm really sorry about that. He got charged for 5 years in prison, incarceration. So he served his debt. And this was in Texas, and he moved to Minneapolis after this. So, this man, who was likely a recovering addict, if I'm going to extrapolate or think about what I've been reading, this man was likely a recovering addict, and he probably had heart damage from it. And he was probably sick because of that stuff. He got arrested a bunch of times. The last time was 11 years ago. And he paid his debt. That's what we're supposed to do, right? If we do a crime, you pay your debt. And then you move on and you try to make your life better. Or you continue doing crime. There's a lot of statistics for prisons not doing shit, but we don't have to get into that right now. So, he went to a convenience store and he tried to buy something with a $20 bill that was real. And the convenience store owners called the cops thinking that it was fake. And the conclusion therein was for a man to sit on his neck for 8 minutes and 47 seconds. Now, let's postulate for a second, okay? Let's just go there for a minute. Let's say that he was actually getting arrested for that robbery. Okay? Let's say that he was getting arrested for that robbery. Jail time was 5 years for that robbery. With a gun. And whatever police handled him during that time didn't kill him. He paid his debt to society. But let's say that that was what it was. Since when does any police officer have the right to be judge, jury, and executioner? Never. We've given them that power. I will go on and on about it. The war on crime was a big starter. So was the war on drugs. There's a lot of things that brought this to where it's at right now. The Patriot Act purchased our police departments lots and lots of fun toys. Guns and assault rifles and bulletproof vests and tear gas and all that kind of stuff. And they bought it all, not with the intention of what that stuff is usually used for, which is, war with other countries. They bought that stuff and they're using it now on the people of this country. They're openly starting conflict. So even if there wasn't a problem before, even if we were being batshit crazy and martyring this guy, which we're not. But if we were, and say even if he was doing horrible crimes, he didn't deserve to die. He didn't deserve to get suffocated. I think that's right. He didn't deserve it. No one deserves that. No one deserves that. Okay? Except for maybe Dylan Roof. Which I have feelings about that too. So, even if he was doing the worst crime he's ever done in his life, he still didn't deserve to die in the street. There's examples of this all over the country. People shot in their beds, people shot in their backs. It's disgusting and unfair. And the thing is they're geared up. They can do this to us because they have the equipment to do it. Now, Obama extended the Patriot Act, which pissed me off. So, even though I am left-leaning, there's a lot of things that have come into consideration, and it started with Reagan, and no president has clean hands from this at all. None. Another thing, if we're going to go a side note here, constantly people on the right are like, you guys are mean to my president. But I know for a fact that not a single person who doesn't like Trump being president has made black effigies with nooses around their necks and hung them from trees. Okay? Systemic racism is real. It's a real thing. We're taught from a very young age when our parents watch the news that thus and so deserved to die because they were being bad people. And we continually do it to our own selves. Rather than saying the police should not have this much power, they should not be allowed to gun us down like this. It's become a political issue where people who last month were saying, fuck the government, and I don't want to wear a mask. It's my constitutional right to make everybody else sick. Fuck the government is sitting here going, okay, fascist bootlicking, here I come. I don't get it. I don't understand it at all. Unless racism is the thing. That's the thing. The only thing that makes sense at this point is that you're just racist. There's no other explanation for it. None. It's not just about the fact that they killed. It's not just the fact that they killed this one man and that he had a police record and all this other stuff. Fucking stop it. It doesn't matter. A man walked into a Charleston church and shot grandmas. He had a gun. George Floyd had a $20 bill. The man with the gun got taken to Burger King after killing 9 grandmas. The difference was the color of their skin. You know how many mass shooters go get snacks after killing children and grandmas? They're white. A man in North Charleston got pulled over for a taillight, saw this cop was being crazy, ran away, and got shot in the back 7 times. Well, sorry, the gun went off 9 times. I think he got 6 bullet wounds. My bad. Come on, guys. This is not rocket science. This is not rocket science. This is not hard to see that A plus B equals C unless you want to continue being racist, in which point, please just admit that you want to be racist. Stop giving us facts that aren't true. Stop lying to people because you're not doing a good job of it anyway. I know that change is scary, okay? I know that change is scary. I know that the thought of not having a force that deals with all of our problems and that we have to specialize because there's too many of us is a scary idea. It's a scary thought process. The problem is we've reached the apex where if we don't do something, we're just allowing them to kill us. We should be just as mad. We should be just as mad. Some of the worst footage I've ever seen is of 2 white men getting killed. I don't know, though, that guy who the cop told him to find his gun and then he got shot next to his pregnant girlfriend in a car. That was pretty sad, too. He was a law-abiding citizen. The rhetoric doesn't work anymore, guys. It doesn't make any sense. So, I mean, I hope that you stuck with me this far. I hope that I've made some sense. I hope that maybe you can understand where I'm coming from or where our African American friends are coming from, right? They don't deserve to be treated like this. They don't deserve to be treated like criminals from the time that they're 3 and 4. They don't deserve to feel like they have to raise their hands to the cops and explain that they're not a threat when they're 5 years old. That shouldn't be something that happens. They shouldn't be having to go get jobs at 12 and 13 years old, which most states, by the way, you can't get a work permit until you're 14 and a half by child labor laws. And then a father goes to jail for something, and then or killed, and then their child has to figure out how to help mom keep the household up. And what's the fastest way to do that? Drugs, right? It's the easiest way to get from point A to point B and be able to eat and pay rent. So by the time that they're 15 and they can actually hold down a job, they probably have gotten at least 1 conviction. I don't know very many subways that are hiring people who have criminal records. It's a lot. It's too much. So speaking on this photo, why it is racist. It is racist because it portrays this man who got murdered in the street as a bad guy and helps people to justify why we're wrong for not wanting cops to kill us. And there's no justification for it. Zero. There's zero justification for it. Okay? Here I am, speaking my piece. And it's a long video, I know. And I'm sorry that I don't have the editing software to make it all fancy and pretty. But it's important that we understand the reasons and the motivations behind what people are doing. People act like they pretend to want to know what's up, why people are feeling the way that they are, but they don't sit down and think about it at all. They don't sit down and think of the ramifications because it's empathetic to do so. And we're finding the people in our lives that lack empathy and don't want change. That's the biggest thing right now. And it's racism. When you lack empathy and are that selfish, it becomes racism. Them's the facts. Alright, so I love you guys. Even if you don't think I know you, I love you. I'm really hoping that somebody watching this can actually learn something. Maybe even, I don't know, think about what they've been saying and how they've been behaving. You gotta treat people with kindness in this world. Enough's enough. People need to stop dying. People need to stop dying. Alright, I love you guys. Ooh. Allergies, man. You deserve to feel safe and loved and well. Everyone deserves that right. Let's make sure everybody gets that right.